or you just don't have to watch it back. Cool. All right. So training webinar. This is all about exercise training, why we do resistance training rather than me just giving you like a cardio plan to go on 3-5 runs a week or 3 cycles a week, whatever that is. A lot of people, when they think about losing weight, just think, right, I'm going to start going for runs and or like I'm going to go for a couple of bike rides or stuff like that. And it's all kind of cardio based. I'm going to talk to you about why we train with resistance training and then how we can kind of get it right for ourselves at our level. So it's about taking what you can for your levels. First of all, we'll just talk about training as a whole. What is it? Why do I use the word training? Then we're going to go through those other 4 bullet points and I'll explain them as I go along. So let's just get stuck in. Basically, training, resistance exercise. The reason we do resistance exercise is like in the last webinar on nutrition, I was talking about muscle protein synthesis and how your muscles use protein and stuff. Muscle tissue, just having muscle tissue, like just existing on your body, burns more calories than having any other type of tissue. So whether it's fatty tissue or just any other type of tissue. So by resistance training and building muscle, you're actually in turn going to be ended up burning more calories as well, because you're just holding muscle. That is literally just as simple as that. So that's why resistance training, in terms of weight training or whatever it might be, is really good for weight loss and fat loss, because you're building that muscle, burning more calories. But also it's because it gets us to that place in terms of our physique of where we want to be. So for guys, we start to build muscle. Obviously with our testosterone levels, naturally we start to become a little bit bulkier, but this happens over a long period of time, right? And we just start to kind of build that muscular frame slowly. With the ladies, it's more about bringing up a toned look. So if you were just to lose loads of weight, you would just kind of look like a kind of like, you know, slim, skinny, whatever, but you wouldn't have any of those kind of roundness in the right places. You wouldn't have any like toning. And it's a very big misconception that weight training will make women look bulky. It won't. You don't have testosterone to do it, so don't worry. Unless you're taking steroids, then maybe, yeah, who knows. But it's just build that toned look. So for guys, it's like that, kind of slowly build muscle over time, and then girls, it's to aid the weight loss and build that toned look. Now, training and exercise is individual for everyone. And the key is really finding a way of exercising and resistance training that you enjoy, but also sticking to that over time. So prioritizing your exercise sessions the same way you would prioritize sending off that email at work, or you would prioritize picking up the kids from school, because it is at the end of the day to make you a better you. You'll feel better for your mental health. You'll end up look better over time. You'll lose more weight over time. And so consistency is important, but I'm not going to tell you to be consistent with something you bloody hate doing, because, you know, that would just make a miserable life, right? So do make sure that you enjoy your sessions. And if you don't, tell me, and tell me if there's anything in particular that you don't enjoy. Now, how does exercise work? Well, basically, when you take a muscle through its range of motion, those 3 words will shorten to the word ROM, range of motion, ROM. So if I take my bicep, the function of my bicep here is to allow the elbow to flex like this. So if I'm holding a dumbbell down by my side and I lift that dumbbell up, I'm shortening the muscle, I'm carrying it down slowly and controlling it, I'm lengthening that muscle. That's why when you show off your biceps, you do that, because it shortens it, it makes it look bigger. By taking your muscle through that and challenging your muscle through that using weight or body weight or whatever it might be, you're breaking down muscle fibers, the proteins, like I said in the nutrition webinar, proteins go in, fix it, make it bigger and stronger. But it's also really important that we train accurately. It's important that we train with good form. It's important that we train in a way that helps us to progressively overload our muscles. And by that, I mean that each session, we're challenging our muscles in a new way. We're giving it what's called a novel stimulus. So more weight, more reps, more sets, less rest, doing it with better form, more accurately, whatever it might be, progressing it in some sort of way. And usually the way we will do it is through progressing our reps, so trying to do more reps, and then eventually progressing the weight every time. So say if you've got on your training program, let's go back to biceps. If you've got biceps curls 12 to 15, reps. If I do this week, I do a set with 10 kilograms and I get 12 reps. Next week, I'll do 10 kilograms again and see if I can beat 12 reps. Maybe I'll get 13, maybe I'll get 14. Over a couple of weeks, I'll probably hit the 15 rep mark. And then I'll feel like I'm ready to maybe do 11 or 12 kilograms. And so I might pick up 12 kilograms and I might only be able to get 10 or 11 reps because it's slightly heavier. But then you just repeat the process until you slowly build up the weights. Okay, so that's all about training and something called progressive overload. If you're not training with progressive overload, which is where you challenge your muscles each week to a higher level, then actually you're not going to get any results. Your body's going to stall and adapt to it very quickly. So that's really important as well. Right, so some things that make up a good training plan, some things that make up what training is and your plans that I've written for you. We'll start with frequency. This is what I look at when I ask you how many days per week do you want to exercise. So it's the number of times per week, how frequent you want to take a muscle through its ROM. Remember, that's range of motion, accurately. So the number of times a week, I'm going to take the bicep from lengthened to shortened to lengthened using resistance accurately. That's your frequency. So most of you, I think all of you, have a frequency of 2 times per week. So you're going to be training each muscle group 2 times per week. And that's because the more frequency we have, the more opportunity we're giving our body to grow muscle and our body to build muscle and build strength. And when we build muscle and strength, it's called hypertrophy. It just means like growth of muscle tissue. And so if we're giving it more opportunity, it's more likely it's going to happen, right? However, you can do this too much because you actually grow and repair and get stronger during your rest periods, as in your days off the gym, or if I do biceps on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I do them again on a Friday, I'm actually getting stronger and growing my biceps on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because my body's using the protein to repair that muscle whilst it's resting. So you can do too much. You can also do too little frequency as well. This leads us really nicely into something. Actually, I'm going to go to the next one straight away and come back to that, into volume. Now, volume is there's loads of ways you can work this out, but at a basic level, the best way you can do it is talk about the number of reps you do times the number of sets you do. So if I do 10 reps of 3 sets, the volume is then like I'm doing 30 reps. And if I'm doing that with 10 kilograms, that's 300 kilograms of volume. Now, volume is different for each muscle group. And by that, I mean that some muscle groups can take a bit more of a battering than others. So if I train legs really hard, I'm only doing 1 or 2 sets, maybe 3 or 4 sets a week. But with something like maybe arms or like abs, like your core, or calves, I could probably smash out 10 to 15 sets per week. And still recover from them. So it's different for every individual because it depends. It's basically what you want to do is the most volume you can properly recover from. And I've adopted a low volume approach to make sure we're all recovering. So your programs all have a relatively low volume approach. However, I will increase the volume after week 4 when we've got a bit used to it and we've adapted to it a little bit to hopefully see some more progress. So you always start low. And if you're writing your own training plan, because you can use this information I give you today to write your own plans, you start low with volume, so maybe 1 or 2 sets per exercise each session, and then you build it up from there to see how you can recover. There's also something called junk volume, which is where you might be like, oh, I feel good today, I'll do an extra set, and you just do it, and you basically just kind of play it by ear, but actually then you can do work that isn't actually helpful when it's just making you tired, so that when you get to going on doing the next exercise, you can't put as much in. So what I'm saying is stick to the plan, basically. Don't just do more because you feel like you want to do more necessarily. You don't have to feel battered when you come out of the gym. It's not a sign. Being sweaty and feeling dead when you leave a gym session isn't actually necessarily a sign of a good workout in terms of what we're trying to achieve, which is proper tissue breakdown and muscle growth. Okay, that's what we're trying to achieve for fat loss here. Now, intensity is something that 99.9% of people cannot get right, probably will never get right in their, I call it their exercise career, if you would. Intensity is one of the biggest drivers for progress and muscle growth. It's measured by 2 things, really, 2 ways of measuring it, which is RPE, that means the rate of perceived exertion. So how much energy did you exert in that set of bicep curls, for example, right? I'd measure that on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being I'm like, the last reps, I'm like dying, straining. 1 being I'm literally ending the set by going like that, putting it down and walking off, not even breaking a sweat. So rate of perceived exertion, you can see on the right-hand side, it says 8 and 9 is optimal, because we don't necessarily want to be killing ourselves at 10, especially with you guys that are early on in your weightlifting careers and weight training careers. If I'm just using the word career here, I don't know why. Journeys, maybe a better word. You don't want to injure yourself, right? So you want to be aiming for 7, 8, 9, you guys, so that it is really hard work, but you're not going to injure yourself. There's also something called RIR, reps in reserve. So if you're leaving reps in the tank, if you finish a set and you go, yeah, I probably could have done 3 or 4 more reps, you're not working hard enough. I'm sorry. In order to grow that muscle, you need to be pushing yourself more. And I'm not saying beat yourself up, because that's what you've been doing for the last 2 weeks. What I am saying is try and get that extra rep next week and build it up through the last kind of the next 6 weeks that we've got together. Build it up, 5 or 6 weeks, isn't it? Build it up. I'm not saying you're not working hard, because you are all working hard, you're all doing really well. What I am saying is I'm just being direct with you and in trying to do it in a positive way. That realistically, if you're leaving 4 or 5 reps in the tank, you could probably do more. But also remember that intensity is individual. I could probably guarantee, I can guarantee that my workouts, if you filmed my workouts and you filmed yours, mine would look a lot far more intense than yours in terms of the rate of perceived exertion of things. And that comes with experience. And that comes with experience of getting past the barriers where you kind of put your mental blocks on, or working harder, or getting that discipline, or kind of digging deep. And it just comes with experience and understanding training more. And I've done that over the last however many years, like 6 years, 7 years, 8 years of being in the gym. So really you want 0 reps in reserve, but don't go any further than failure. Don't be, if I'm doing a bicep curl and the last reps I'm swinging my arm up, that's not a bicep curl, just like a weird wave thing. You need to be doing it properly. That's why it says form over everything. Okay, form, and that means doing the exercise properly and scientifically to use the muscle. That is the most important thing out of everything you will do, every single session you do. And please feel free to film yourself doing some reps and send it in the group chat, and I will help you. And by helping you with your form, you will help other people, because they will see things from my feedback that they wouldn't have realized they were doing themselves. Genuinely, please do that. Gina will testify, Simon will testify that that has been so helpful for them in the past. Now, you also, when writing a training plan or training, you need to choose exercises, right? Otherwise, you don't have the building blocks of a training plan. Maybe you've got your volume and frequency set, and you know what days you're going to train what muscles on. So say you're doing chest and triceps, back and biceps, legs and abs, but actually you got no exercises. So you want to choose exercises based on the target muscle. So if I'm doing chest and triceps and I'm doing a back exercise, not the correct decision. I need to be doing a chest or a bicep exercise. It also needs to be based on your goal. So our goal right now is build muscle, because that will help us with our fat loss and help us build those physiques we are looking for. And also the feel. So if and a good example of this is me experiencing bench press for the first 3 or 4 years of my lifting journey. I was bench pressing completely wrong, even though it looked like I was bench pressing completely right. And it took me a whole year to relearn how to bench press, and I relearned over lockdown, actually. And yet that's such a simple exercise that 80% of the people that go to the gym will learn how to do within their kind of first year of being in the gym. However, since fixing that and spending time being frustrated as anything, not being able to bench and getting annoyed that I felt really weak because I was relearning it, and obviously I can't load loads of weight on. I'm like, I've been training for 5 years, why can I only bench this much weight? Because I was relearning the pattern. After all that time of frustration, my chest now has grown probably twice as quick as it was before, and I get a lot less shoulder injury. So that's really positive, and that's because I fixed the form. And that's because at that time, the exercise wasn't the right choice for me. So I should have been doing maybe some machine chest presses. Whereas when I got a coach and he helped me fix my bench press, now bench press is a good exercise for me because I feel it well and I do it properly. What you want to do is just master the basics. The stuff I've given you in your programs are relatively basic movements, nothing complicated using fancy equipment or anything. Just master them. Make sure if you're writing your own program in the future, say you're watching this back in 6 months' time, make sure you select stuff that helps you reach your goal. Make sure that you're not switching up your workouts every 4 weeks. Realistically, and I would set this boundary, kind of mental boundary for yourself, you stick to a plan for at least 8 weeks consistently before making any changes to your training plan. You will see changes from me after week 4, and that's just increase in volume, not an increase in exercises. And that's because if you're changing all the time, you might feel like you're doing better, but that's because you're giving your body a new stimulus, and so you might be a little bit more sore and things. But I've already said to you, being sore the next day after a workout isn't necessarily the sign of a good workout. That's just a sign that your body needs to recover. Eventually, you will do all your workouts and not feel sore at all the next day, and that is absolutely fine. That's brilliant because your body's recovering quickly. That's what you want. You don't want to switch up exercises all the time. There's literally no excuse for it unless you'll basically get injured. Right. Now, for you guys as well, this is important. This goes for all exercise, not just weightlifting. So walking, running, jogging, cycling, swimming, whatever it might be, is about just moving your body and helping to create your own mindset around exercise of, let's just move in a way today that makes me feel good. If that's going for a walk, if that's going for a jog, if that's going to the swimming pool, if that's going for a bike ride, if that's going to the gym and just using a cross trainer or a rowing machine, or just move in a way that feels good to you outside of your gym sessions, and you will see progress accelerate like tenfold because you're just moving a little bit more outside of your training sessions. I sent a video to the group chat last week, and I was just speaking to Josh about this, of how steps are really important. And actually, you don't burn many calories in your workout. Like, you finish a weightlifting workout and you might see like 300 calories burn or something like that. And that's probably not even accurate on your watches and things. But actually, steps throughout the day, it's called your NEAT activity, which is basically just the day-to-day movement of your body, burns a lot more calories. So if you force yourself to move a little bit more, or not force yourself, but if you find a way to move a bit more that makes you feel good, you're going to increase your calorie burning capabilities. It's also good for your mental health, makes you feel good. Doctors prescribe exercise for things like depression now because of research that's come out in the last few years. I'm not saying that it's going to solve anything. I'm saying that it could be a contributor to a positive contributor to it. And that's through my experience, as well as the experiences of others around me that I've worked with or been friends with, or just known as well. Again, it goes without saying, physical health is going to be brilliant for your physical health. Just because we're weightlifting doesn't mean we need to neglect doing cardio or keeping our heart healthy in terms of doing those exercises like cardiovascular exercise that keeps our heart rate up. But basically, just follow your plan. Explore different types of exercise. I had a client that we wanted to lose body fat and we got him pretty shredded. It was really cool, actually, the process. But the first thing he said was, I can't do any more walking throughout the day because of my schedule. I have a 30-minute slot to do some cardio, but I hate running, but I don't have any equipment. And so obviously I was like, right, okay, give me a second, let me go away, think about it, and come back to you. And I was like, how do you feel about trying something new? And ordered him a skipping rope. And he started to learn how to skip using a skipping rope. And he just did 20 minutes a day. And he loved learning the new skill. He actually really enjoyed it. He told me, this was a couple of years ago, I coached him, and I'm still friends with him. And he told me the other day that he picks it up every now and again and just gives it a go because he actually really enjoys it. And he started skipping more regularly again. And oh my goodness, the weight loss that occurred because he was just doing a bit more movement was incredible. And that was just fitting it around his lifestyle, doing it because he enjoyed it, moving in a way that made him feel good mentally, physically, and generally. And it was a type of exercise that he found he enjoyed. And then we put it in his plan and he just followed the plan. So really do explore those things. And if you want stuff added to your plan, or if you feel like something needs to change in your plan because you're not enjoying it, or because you have new equipment, or because you have capabilities to do more or different, just say, tell me. It's my job to make sure that fits in your plan and fits around your lifestyle. So please do let me know. And if you need help fitting stuff around your lifestyle, or need help with exploring new types of exercise, the group chat is made just for that. So please do let us know. All right. I think we're almost there pretty much. It's nice because it's only a kind of 20 minutes-ish, short, sweet one, if you would. But it's important, and there's a lot to digest. and I want you to try and implement it. I want you to, in the group chat, tell me your favorite exercise at the moment. And I want you to tell me how you've progressed since day one in terms of your exercising as well in the group chat. 2 tasks for you. And also, if you have any top tips with how you do your training sessions, how you motivate yourself, or anything like that, put that in the group chat. But the 2 main tasks, put your favorite exercise in the group chat. And I also want you to tell me how you've progressed, and tell the group how you've progressed in your exercising, your weightlifting, resistance training, cardio, whatever it is, since day one. That'll really encourage each other. They'll help us lift up, because after week 2 or 3, people start to slip on plans because the motivation starts to decrease, and maybe they haven't built enough discipline in order to replace that motivation. And this is why the group chat is so invaluable in Evolve in 8. So please do use it. All I can ask you to do is use it and help you use it and facilitate you using it. Like a teacher at school, I can facilitate the learning of students. I can't make the student learn. Part of it comes down to you guys. Part of it comes down to my students getting grades, right? I can't revise for them. You guys, I can't make you interact in the chat, but I can give you examples of where it's been super valuable, and I can tell you hand on heart that it will help you with your progress and with your journey. A couple of things for you to think about there. I hope that was all right. I hope you got something from it. Any questions, head over to the group chat. And apart from that, thanks for watching again. Josh, thanks for being here with me as well. And yeah, you guys that are watching it back, I'm going to stop the recording. So I'll say bye to you, and then I'll have a quick catch up with Josh afterwards as well. So bye, everybody.